Okay, I went ahead and pinned this. So you have your binding right sides together and you line up these two cut edges like this, and you're going to stitch from here to here, from one side of the binding all the way down to the other corner. Don't stitch over pins. I'm using my presser foot edge as my seam guide, since the pattern does not tell you that it should be about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and so then when you open it up, you have a seam right there. Okay, and we're going to trim those little dog ears off of the corners. When you fold this back, you get that little point right there. Okay guys, I'm just going to tell you, it's so much easier just to cut your bias with a straight corner like this. Trying to deal with those little points and figuring out that whole method. It's something I knew, you know, years and years ago, but just cut it off. Just cut that little point off and then go from one corner of your squared off cut to the other corner, and it won't drive you mad like that was fixing to do to me. Okay. And then you just trim off that point. And you have your bias piece put where it's supposed to be. All right. Page where it talks about applying the bias binding. It literally it tells you to cut one piece, which as we saw, it went around, you know, half, not even halfway. Additionally, cutting two pieces, I'm still short by a huge margin. I'm going to have to add a piece right here to complete this project if I decide to do it. I'm very, very close to deciding to do a placemat turn on this particular project and move on. Because I don't want to cut, I don't know if you can see this, but that's where I've ended up. And these two pieces of bias trim are cut in such a way that they're not going to match up. So I would have to add a piece. So we are going to do a placemat turn on this Caddy. I probably will use some of the blue floral fabric to make the loop for the button, which I've got over there. Alright, I don't need to finish off those raw edges because they're going to be enclosed within this project, and I'll show you what I mean as soon as I get this created. So what I will do now is take this, the interior, and I'm going to stitch all the way around the interior. I'm going to pin it in the middle, and I'm going to cross those pins so that they hold it right where I put it. I'm going to do 2 sets of crossed pins. Like that. And then it should not shift while I'm sewing. And you can always do, if you need to do more pins, absolutely. I would suggest that you do. So we trim these threads. Okay, so this is attached. We will put this way. Okay, and then part way down on one side, we need our little loop. And I need to see when we flip this out right side out, then our cord will be where we want it to be. All right, so now we will stitch all the way around, leaving an opening that we can use to turn this to the outside. Now I'm going to trim the corners without cutting my sewing threads. Just going to trim that. And these threads, all these little whiskers, and make sure everything looks like it's well stitched. And so far it does. Okay. Whoop. Get all those out. And then open up the gap I left. And just try to turn this to the outside. And then because I made that gate, this is just going to naturally fall to the inside. That's what doing that. You're stitching along like this, and then you go to the outside, you're stitching along, you go to the outside, and it forces this fabric to just naturally turn to the inside. Okay. Alright, so far I'm liking it. It looks pretty cute. I see a lot of little things I would have changed had I been going the way I was going. Alright, and then this will come around to about halfway on the cover. So the button will go about right here. It's literally, it looks like it's about halfway. So we will need to make sure that we stitch a button and stitch it far enough away that this will stay attached. Okay, so I'm going to go press and I'll be back to top stitch. Alright, and I'm going to top stitch from this side because when it's folded, this is the side that you will see. So I will start along this edge right here, and I'm going to lengthen my stitch to 3. Trim off these threads. Kind of nice and neat. Alright, so here's our caddy. Okay. So if we fold this up this way, I think I put this on the wrong side. It should, yeah, it should have been on this side. That's why mine appears to be upside down. So when I close mine, I will need to close it this way, which is fine. That actually works well for my mind anyway. All right. And I think I will use, I have just sort of an array of cute buttons here. I think I'm going to use the little pink with little, it looks like little dots, polka dots. There's purple, blue, sort of a pale blue, a green, gingham and little polka dots. Okay, so let's see, I'll need to figure out where I need that button to go. Right there. Can't see this needle eye. I need a much bigger needle. Oh boy, it's just been one of those kind of days.